Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're giving you our Week 2 fantasy football starts and sits for the Sunday and Monday football games. We're here to help you make all the right decisions on who you should have in your lineup and who you need to sit down. Let's start this fantasy football podcast right now.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Fantasy Football Upside. I am Justin, that is Kyle. Thanks for dropping by our Fantasy Football podcast and YouTube channel. We appreciate it. Having some good times right before we recorded. I appreciate that, Kyle. That was a good one. That was a good one. So, but hey, guys, the waiver wire has already cleared for Week 2. But check out our waiver wire episode to see if anybody's left out there.
Just a few hanger-ons.
Without putting a waiver claim, no fab budget. But you always mention this, Kyle. I'm going to steal it from you.
A few hanger-ons, maybe. A few hanger-ons.
You say this quite a bit, and I'm going to steal it from you this week.
Oh, yeah?
Make sure nobody dropped anybody of value.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody had a down game and people overreact.
Oh, yeah. Week 1 overreaction.
Take a look out there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
But Week 2 is already here, and that means we have the start and sits for this week. We will knock it out all in one episode, so you'll have all the info you need, one-stop shop for the Sunday and Monday matchups. What you got before we get right into it, Kyle?
Click the like button down below, as well as the subscribe and the notification bell. That way you are notified every time that we upload a video, as well as when we go live for our Sunday pregame show. That's right, we're doing a live episode this season. I think we've kind of come to an understanding that what we're going to be doing is kind of reducing our weekly episodes. Still the same content. We're just condensing it into single episodes somewhat. The start-sit matchups are all going to be in one episode except for the Thursday night game. Just get it all in there at once. That way you're not hunting down, okay, this episode didn't have the game I'm looking for. I got to go to the other one. Instead, it's all in one spot. You got it right there. But then also you're going to ask questions about, should I start this guy over this guy? Flex decisions, all that sort of stuff, all that last minute tinkering. Yes. So that is why we're doing live episodes on the Sunday pregame show, right? That starts around 11 o'clock Central. What is it? Noon Eastern right there. So
carry the 2. Yep.
Carry the 2. Adds up. That math checks out. So you can hop in there. You can drop a question down below and ask us some of your start-sit questions. This guy over this guy, or you can do that in the live show. All right, let's dive in head first into the shallow end and start talking about our matchups. Justin, what we got up first here? We got
New England Patriots against the New York Jets, and you're going to hit me with the Patriots start.
Oh, the Patriots, yes, the Patriots.
The Patriots.
All right, I don't have a whole lot actually on them. Believe it or not, I've got a couple though. I think Mac Jones.
You have more than I do for the Jets.
Because the Jets are the worst. All right, so the Patriots, New England Patriots. The Mac Jones, I've actually got as a start. He should be pretty decent as a start against a team that is looking forward to improving itself, but hasn't gotten there just yet, right? So I think the Jets are on a fast track to some extent, but man, they've had some banged up players. They've got other problems going on. I think that right now, I would trust Mac Jones to do okay. I think he's back in QB1.
Are you starting him in a 12 team?
I think if you're hopeful that he might get back in top 12 this week. There's a lot of bad rough matchups from my perspective on QBs this week, and so I think he's going to provide. I don't think Bill Belichick's going to put him into a situation that he can't handle or manage. And I mean, there's plenty of people who would have started Cam Newton this week, right? If he was the QB, right?
Yeah.
Well, Mac Jones actually knows the playbook, so I think I'm going to go with him.
He can throw the ball down the field.
Yeah, he can throw the ball down the field, but they're not going to ask him to, really. They're not. Yeah. And he's actually making Aguilar look pretty good. He's making Jacoby Myers look pretty good. So Damian Harris, pretty solid as well. I'm going to start him. He's got a workload that last week was pretty solid. I'm rolling with him again this week. I think James White, quietly a solid flex play in week 1. Should be good to go as a flex play again this week in my mind. I think that they're going to just I think we're seeing something different out of Belichick finally, where it's a little bit more clear as to what's going on in that backfield. Now, Ramondre Stevenson is going to weasel his way onto this playtime at some point.
Yeah.
It's just not there yet, right?
Well, I wonder if, I want to just chime in real quick.
Sure.
Ramondre Stevenson, he fumbled in the first half, and that's why he was benched. And then even Damian Harris had that fumble towards the end of the game. And I wonder if that's why maybe James White got a little bit more work. And then let's see if if anybody's going to be in the doghouse, it's going to be that rookie.
Maybe,
it's
but
be
man,
Ramondre.
Damian Harris had like 20 plus carries last week?
He's still going to get it.
Yeah. They're going to lean on him. They're going to lean on him.
Oh, yeah.
Trust me. Aguilar, he's going to be competing with Myers for wide receiver 1 all season, and Myers, samesies, right? So, yeah. Samesies. There you go. All right.
Is that all you got?
That is all I've got. What have you got on?
The worst.
They should just rename it.
They should.
Like Washington football team is going to finally get their new name.
The New York worst.
The worst.
Yes.
But all right, Zach Wilson is a decent 2 QB start, is super flex start. That's all really is, because there's just not a whole lot going on here with the Jets. I have 0 running backs to start because you just don't know what's going to happen. They decided to share the ball quite a bit in that backfield, and they all average about 2 yards per carry. That's just going to be the same moving forward. My one main start I have for the Jets is Corey Davis.
Yep.
7 targets, 5 catches, 97 yards, and 2 touchdowns. This is a guy that we targeted quite a bit, everybody. We said this is a undervalued player. This is a sleeper, and he definitely showed out that first week.
Oh, yeah.
He got 7 targets. I think he's going to average probably close to that for this entire season. They do have a couple of wide receivers coming back, or at least Jamison Crowder. He's off the COVID list, but he's still hampered by a groin injury. Elijah Moore struggled. I'm not feeling like I can start him yet, just because he's a rookie and he was hurt through most of the training camp. That's about all I got.
I would just say keep an eye on Mims, what's going on with him and everything, because I think that he could be a guy who ends up being a slot value, possibly. So,
he was a 2nd-round pick for a reason.
Yeah.
He's just a little buried right now, but I like what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Corey Davis, I think 7 is a floor potentially on targets. I really do.
I think so too.
How many?
I wanted to do 7.
7 miles an hour.
Yeah. So, all right, here we go. I did not do that to just drop that. Not at all. I actually brought it up because I do believe 7 is his floor.
7.
And it did
7
help.
miles an hour.
It did. All right, here we go. Let's move on. We've got Denver at Jacksonville. I'll take Denver. Here we go. Teddy Bridgewater. It's a pretty good opportunity here, actually. I think that, Jacksonville's kind of not been good so far, right? So, it is an Urban Meyer-led team. In the NFL, it's the college coach who should be back in college shortly, whether he knows it or not. Melvin Gordon, start him against this bad run defense, right? And Javonte Williams, he actually out-carried Gordon last week, but I don't see that happening every week. I think Gordon is going to be the guy who gets more. I say out-carried, meaning he got more carries, but he was less effective, actually. So Gordon was the more effective of the backs, and it was clear he was NFL level effective, whereas Javonte Williams was college guy playing in the NFL effective. Not to say that's not going to change. I just think, right now is not the time. Right. All right. So I've got Williams as a flex play, and that's only if you've really got to put him in there kind of thing, because I'm not going to rely on him to get any set amount right now. I think they want to work him into this offense. They want to get him up to probably a 60-40 split, being 40% for him. I think that's what they want. But it's not there yet. Cortland Sutton is a start for me. He's probably the most likely beneficiary of Jerry Jeudy right now being out. And then, so here it comes, right? Who do you pick up and start? Can you start anybody? I don't know that I would start anybody this week if I picked them up. A lot of people ran to the wire and picked up Tim Patrick, right? And that's what they leaned on. I actually think it's going to be Hamler.
Really?
I do. I think it's going to be KJ Hamler stepping right into Judy's role. Whereas Tim Patrick, I don't know that that's what they want him there to do. I don't know that that's what they want him to do. So, I've got either one. If you pick them up, I think you can play them. But you're rolling the dice on which one's going to be the beneficiary, and it may be neither. Ultimately, they may just split it. That's kind of what was happening last year, right? They both got a lot of playtime last year, and I really liked Tim Patrick last year. I wanted to keep him on my team. I couldn't at various points, and he did okay in a couple games, right? But I just see Hamler as just being so much more talented player.
He's a little more athletic, or just explosive. Yeah, that's for sure, with the ball in his hands.
Yep. And then Noah Fant. I actually think it's a decent start, but you need to be skeptical moving forward. This offense, I don't know if it's going to run through the tight end very, very much. And, he's kind of like Pitts in a lot of ways. He's just not a blocking tight end the way that they want. And they need a blocking tight end in the running game, and so as a result, he's more of a wide receiver than he is a tight end.
Yeah, and it also always looks like he's always hobbled by something, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to ride that Noah Fant train last year, and it just was not fun.
Yep.
Not a fun, enjoyable ride.
Not fantastic. All right, Jacksonville. Yeah, I know.
Go take a break. Yeah.
I'm sufficiently chastised. All right, Jacksonville. What do you got?
Jacksonville. Trevor Lawrence. This is a tough defense when it comes to going against the quarterback, especially if Bradley Chubb is playing. So I would still start him in a 2 QB or super flex. I mean, he did throw 51 times, but he threw 3 picks. So
there's no way he's doing that again, though, man.
I mean, and that's what Urban Meyer keeps saying, everything like that. But he also, keeps saying he's not going to go back to college, and we all know that's going to happen in, I don't know, about 12 months. But that actually goes in line. Yeah, less. Sorry. James Robinson, will they throw it 51 times? Because they did that. It's a negative game script. That's what happened.
He was out-touched by Carlos Hyde. That was ridiculous. Absolutely
J-Rob
ridiculous.
should touch the ball way more than 8 times.
I think Carlos Hyde had 1 yard per carry or something. I think that's what it was, wasn't it?
He actually had decent numbers. But, I still think James Robinson should be flex worthy, but I am a little scared. I'm sure you have a decision to make because you have James Robinson.
He's not coming out of my lineup.
Okay, good.
Nope.
But Carlos Hyde, why is Urban Meyer so adamant about making, getting the plotter that is Carlos Hyde work?
Because he was right at OU. Jesus. Right.
But when it comes to these pass catchers, man, I do like, the 3, the Marvin Jones, the DJ Chark, Laviska Shenault. I like all 3 of them.
It's just
it's really tough. Right now, I would lean towards the DJ Chark and Marvin Jones.
Yeah, Marvin Jones just on volume alone because I think he's the most trusted out of all of them.
Well, I mean, DJ Chark did garner 12 targets,
but
only came down with 3 of them.
I think if you're tossing in preseason first team reps and practice reps and everything, I think Marvin Jones is the guy. He got a little bit injured in the last week right before preseason ended, right? And so
he had a little shoulder injury, but he came back and he looked okay for week 1. So it is just it's really hard right now to say, okay, start one of these 3. I would just hold off.
I don't think they know what to do with Shenault. I don't think they know how to use him effectively, and that's my concern. Oh my gosh!
Once they figure that out, once they figure out how to use him, holy cow! I can't wait to see. Quick little note.
Yeah, I was gonna say you got one other name, right?
I got a quick little note. Keep an eye on the targets again for week 2 for James O'Shaughnessy. He had 8 targets last week in week 1.
How do you pronounce that?
What did you say? You said something.
O'Shag Hennessy. Sent you to Principal O'Shag Hennessy.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. All right, we've got Buffalo at Miami. I'll take Buffalo here.
You will.
Yeah, I will. I would, definitely, in this game. Although, I don't know, man. Buffalo came out a little bit punch drunk, it seemed like. I don't know what was going on, right? But I'm looking for them
hangover.
to
hangover.
A little bit. I'm looking for them to get right here. Josh Allen, start your studs, but this defense is better than people are giving it credit for, right? So yeah, I think you still roll with them, but good, you're kind of hoping there a little bit. Zach Moss was a healthy scratch in week 1, so be afraid. Turns out, healthy scratch. Devin Singletary with Moss as a healthy scratch. She finishes running back 28 against a good defense. So you got to be excited, but probably not happy exactly that you have Devin Singletary if he's in your lineup. Matt Breida, he's the one who got 1 yard per touch, 4 touches, 4 yards. So just don't. Stephon Diggs, start your studs, you know better. Cole Beasley, meh. Gabriel Davis.
Unless you're in a PPR.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. Well, I don't know, though. You've got Gabriel Davis and Emmanuel Sanders kind of eating into things, and I hope you don't have...
He still got 12 targets last.
Yeah, but
it is one
But
week.
how long does that last until he...
Yeah, because he's always hurt.
Yeah. So
he plays through it, though.
No, yeah, it's great. Wonderful. Gabriel Davis at some point is going to blow up but you got to wait for him to blow up before you can put him in your lineup, in my mind. So he's got flex value. Cole Beasley has flex value, but that's about it for those 2 guys. Singletary and Breida. I've got this marked wrong. Breida's not a start. And then Singletary is a flex value too for me. But that's it, really. There's only 2 starts, Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs. If you got that stack, more power to you, dude. All right, Miami.
I don't have too much on this one either. It's more has to do with there's a lot of people playing for Miami Dolphins.
Oh, yeah.
But, they're Justin. But
about 53.
About right around there, but only 48
I think 48 dress. Yeah.
So. Yeah. But anyways, all right, Tua. I would start him in a 2 QB or super flex, but even then, it's not that exciting. Even then, it's kind of a reach. Miles Gaskin.
That's Miami's opinion too. They're looking to trade for a dude accused of sexual assault,
and they're thinking about it enough to do that. That is kind of scary.
Yeah.
But Miles Gaskin, I mean, he's getting the majority of the work right now. He was on the field 54% of the plays. So I think that could garner you some decent flex value with this workload on its offense, but they're still trying to make Malcolm Brown and Salvon Ahmed. We like Salvon Ahmed, but they're still really wanting to add them into this offense because I think they want to try to keep everybody fresh because all three of those guys I feel like have some sort of injury concerns in the past. So it's just really hard to count on that. And then this wide receivers, man, this is not a fun week really when it comes to this defense. But it's also you add in Will Fuller. Yeah. So then you had another pass catcher, and then you have Devontae Parker. You have Jalen Waddle. Preston Williams didn't play last week.
But not only that,
but Mike Gesicki. It's just
nothing about this offense is exciting. Like nothing about it is. There's no player that you have to have on this offense. Well, it could be, but I think I think every single one of them is better as a wide receiver 2 on their team. I think every single running back that they have is better as a running back 2 on their team.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the truth. And I think that Tua is a QB2 on their team.
This is like a best ball.
I would say Gesicki
right here.
Gesicki could be a valuable tight end on a lot of teams. That's about it. But he's stuck on an inept offense that only you have to just make sure you're covering Gesicki really well.
I mean, that's insane, though, because he got 0 targets in week 1. And the last 5 games last year, he was a top 5 tight end. It's like, what happened? Like, who did he piss off?
Yeah.
Whose coach's wife did he sleep with? I don't understand it. So, all right, up next we got San Francisco 49ers against the Philadelphia Eagles. You got the Niners.
I like Garoppolo as a 2 QB super flex start here. I mean, I could see somebody rolling with him and hoping that he blows up here big, but that's going to be really risky given that the running back situation is really in flux. I think that Eli Mitchell or Elijah Mitchell, he should be the lead back this week. Should be, but likely he's in a timeshare because it's Shanahan, right? So good luck figuring that one out. I would expect Trey Sermon to actually be in the actual lineup this week, not scratched. And I don't know, man. They added somebody else who Cannon, right? They added as well this week.
Trenton Cannon. He was on the Ravens, but he couldn't make the Ravens active squad after they signed the heaps of Le'Veon Bell and Devontae Freeman. So I wouldn't get too excited. Yeah. But they do have somebody on the practice squad. I felt like. Sorry, go ahead. I'm gonna look that up.
So I don't have Ayuk as a start until they prove that they aren't Dante Pettising him. I don't think you can trust it. Debo is an absolute baller, dude. Week 1 blew up. Yeah, that's right. Debo! This guy could finally be getting used to stretch the field, right? The last 2 seasons were just a ruse to lull the whole league into sleep on him, right? So that none of them saw it coming, that they're just going to throw downfield balls to this dude. I mean, my gosh, if they've added that threat to him as a package, this guy has everything from short, intermediate to long routes, man. That's going to be scary. He actually look, if Garoppolo keeps going to Debo and to Kittle, he should keep the job. He should keep the job until next year. And that's what he needs, because that's going to be his resume. He'll go get his Kirk Cousins guaranteed style money. Well, the Vikings need somebody next year, so that's where Garoppolo's going to go.
Write that down.
I found that other running back, and I almost vomited in my mouth. It was Kerryon Johnson, who's assigned to the practice.
Yeah. All right. And then, obviously, George Kittle. I mean, come on. He and Debo will be competing for the downfield shots in this offense, right? I throw that in quotes because downfield shots is 7 yards beyond the line of scrimmage for this offense.
Ooh, 7?
7.
That's a lot.
7 miles an hour.
All right, Philadelphia, what you got? Nope. What you got?
Jalen Hurts. This is going to be a tougher defense than he faced week 1, but he has a really good rushing floor. I think he had about 67 yards on the ground, and his passing attack looked a little improved. So we'll see. I mean, I like the fact whenever a new coach comes in, he goes ahead and designs a scheme around a player first instead of forcing a player into his scheme. So I liked what Nick Sirianni has done. Guy can't get on a mic, but so it looks like he can draw up some plays for his quarterback. But Miles Sanders, I will never see really him as a even this day and age bell cow running back, but he should get enough work to provide you running back 2 value week in and week out. I just don't think they're willing to give him 20 plus touches every week just because of that potential injury concern. Keep an eye on Kenny Gainwell. That was one of our waiver wire.
Oh, yeah.
I think, Kenny Gainwell, he took over out of nowhere, really, that running back 2 spot from Boston Scott.
Not out of nowhere, man. I said that he's going to be threatening Sanders by the end of the season. I said that.
We had him on our sleeper episodes, but I'm just saying in the fantasy world, people are like, where'd Boston Scott go? Kenny Gainwell took over.
I don't care. Yeah. He did as well as Sanders in my mind, actually. So that's why I think that Sanders is just riding on potential more than he is anything else, whereas Gainwell is actually showing some stuff.
Yeah,
he's effective in this offense. So
Davonte Smith, I actually think he would be a decent wide receiver 3 or flex option. The targets should be there for him as he is the number 1 option in this offense. I think he is, even though he's a rookie, he's a Heisman Trophy winner, and I think he is above Jalen Reagor. And until Reagor proves me otherwise, which he looked fine, but most of his stuff was towards the end of the game. They looked at Davonte Smith beginning of the game. Dallas Goddard, only reason why I'm going to start him is the fact that Zach Ertz may miss this game, and he did miss some of the games, Zach Ertz did, and that's whenever Dallas Goddard got his touchdown. So it's one of those things where both are playing. It's tough to trust any of the tight ends. But if he's out, I think you could start him. If you had like a Mike Gesicki. Yeah. I don't like it either, Kyle. I don't like how it feels. But if someone's out there and they have to have, for some reason, a tight end, and Zach Ertz is out,
you still in one options. Yeah.
He could be.
All right.
Here
LA
we go. Rams against my Indianapolis Colts. What you got for the Rams?
All right, so I'm starting Stafford there. Colts won't be able to stop him the whole game, even though they are a good defense. So I think Stafford gets it done. He slings that rock pretty good. And, hey, I think they got a lot of weapons on this offense right now. I think that's pretty good. Daryl Henderson, he looked fairly explosive, actually. And you have to wonder, will he be able to solidify himself as the lead back before Sony managed to actually learn the playbook? He's not doing a very good job at that, right? So he needs to learn that right now. So I've got Sony as a sit, and I've got Daryl Henderson and Matthew Stafford both as starts there. Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, hey, studs do what studs do. You're going to start both of those guys. And then Tyler Higbee, I guess you could start him, all right? You're still in a league that plays tight ends? Sure, go ahead, start him. We're just going to start eliminating positions that are too volatile, I guess.
There you go.
There are leagues that's their solution. There's they're all just touchdown dependent. So it's just
get them out.
Just get them out. It's like kickers are field goal dependent. What?
That's been the first one to go. That's for sure.
Yeah, it has. So all right, what do you got?
Defenses All right, Indianapolis Colts. I don't have much on here. Carson Wentz, solid 2 QB or super flex start. He looked okay week 1. It was a bad loss.
It was.
He looked okay,
not as bad,
but it was a lot of short little passes. His main targets were to the running back, so that gives you an idea. Jonathan Taylor did everything but score in week 1. He didn't have much running room. But I think you should get in the end zone on this one and get you at least 100-yard scrimmage yards because, David Montgomery ran all over this team last week. So
Jonathan Taylor, start of the week. Start of the week. Yep.
Should we
write that down?
Exactly. Nyheim Hines is a decent PPR flex option. He's getting a lot of work. He's got that new contract. I cannot trust any of these wide receivers right now. I can't trust any of the tight ends.
Nope.
So we're just going to head and move on, man.
Yeah. Yep. That's about all I got to say about that. Las Vegas versus the Pittsburgh Steelers.
That's all I got to say about that.
That's all I got to say about that. All right, Derek Carr, 2 QB and Superflex. My Lord, Baltimore made him look like Pat Mahomes. It's insane. So hey, I don't think he's going to pull that out again. But go ahead. 2 QB Superflex. He's good for top 24, not top 12. Josh Jacobs, be careful here. He's banged up. It's unclear what's happening. They literally listed him as injured. Parentheses everything.
They did.
They did. I'm not exaggerating. It's not a joke. That's what they did.
Ball in his hand, he looked fine, but man, coming off the field, he was just like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to get back, coach.
Yeah, he like stroked out on the field or something. I don't know, man. Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah.
So Kenyon Drake, keep an eye on Jacobs' status. If
Is
Jacobs,
that a must start if Jacobs is out?
I think I would probably not say must start because of this defense.
Okay.
So if Jacobs were out and it were, not a top 6 defense, then sure. Yeah. But I could, oh man, Pittsburgh already got a touchdown on defense this year. So I think that you can bet that they're probably going to do pretty well this week too. Let's see here. We've got Henry Ruggs. Don't ever trust Chucky, right? So yeah, back away from that. Brian Edwards, I've got him as a start. Justin's added a note in here, actually said, did everything towards the end of the fourth quarter and overtime. That is correct. You are correct. That is a fact.
5 points for me.
Yeah, 5 points for you. We'll keep score, right?
Write that down.
So he was quietly solid, though. That's the thing. He had 4 catches for 81 yards, 0 touchdowns, but he was so close to a touchdown. Low-end flex value this week at best with this defense. So if you need to throw him out there, roll with him as a flex. Value in mind, not necessarily as a flex, right? And then Darren Waller, that's the reason why Edwards didn't get anything. Derek Carr is unaware that there are any other players on the field for about 3 out of 4 quarters of every game. So, you can roll with Darren Waller as a result. I think actually that Chucky's probably going to be like, yeah, you won, but we've got some problems here, pal. You need to start throwing the ball to other guys, because once you did, we started scoring very fast. I mean, they scored 2 times in 6 minutes with the 6 minutes left in the game. Yeah. Against Baltimore, which is supposed to have a pretty good defense. So, yeah. What do you got on Pittsburgh?
Ben Roethlisberger, another 2 QB super flex start. And you're going to hear us say that quite a bit. Nothing flashy about that. He's going to throw it 40 times and get you 170 yards. Naji Harris, exactly. Yeah. Naji Harris, he played 100% of the snaps in week 1, Kyle.
What did we say? What did it say? What did I say? I said last week he was going to be a volume guy. He was going to get everything. Boom.
Just wasn't as productive as what we would like to see, but that's because of
we
that
knew that was going to be the case too. That's what we said. You're going to get a lot of touches, but you're not going to get a lot of production. So.
It's kind of like the David Montgomery of a couple years ago, where it was just like he was touching the ball 30 times and he was going to get you maybe double digits.
A yard and a half a carry.
But volume is king, everybody.
Yep.
Speaking of volume, I have Deontay Johnson as a start because he's a volume-based wide receiver too. He's going to get probably 10 plus targets every single game. He is his go-to. Chase Claypool is a boomer bust wide receiver 3 or flex, everybody.
Yep.
He is much better for a best ball player. You just don't know when it's going to happen. Juju Smith-Schuster, he's still getting the targets. I mean, he finished as the second best wide receiver on this team last week, and I think he's going to get enough targets where they can garner some flex consideration. I would much rather play.
Yeah, you got to have. I think it's very matchup sensitive.
So. Very much so.
Yeah.
So, with this, I mean, I don't know how much the Las Vegas Raiders can stop on defense, so it wouldn't be a bad start.
I mean, my God. Well, they let Watkins get behind them, so I mean,
anything is possible.
Anything's possible. Yeah. No, I think Sammy Watkins is underrated in that offense.
He is.
All right, Cincinnati at Chicago. Joe Burrow, go ahead, start him. Despite the O-line, he still did okay. He's going to get in to click at some point, and then he's going to blow up for you. If he can just get a little bit of time, I think it's going to be fine. But he did all right, actually. He was not grand, not great, not wonderful, but it was more than serviceable as a QB1. Joe Mixon, he's getting plenty of volume to have a floor of running back 2 with a ton of upside if he breaks one off, right? If he just busts one out, then I think you could start him. Chicago's defense is not doing what Chicago's defense is known to do, so why not? I mean, they should have probably traded Khalil Mack back to Las Vegas. They got approached. Insane. They really should have, honestly.
Yeah, I wonder what the actual package was.
They probably could have gotten double what they sent over. No. I think. You don't think so?
No.
I mean, they gave up a lot, I suppose.
They did. I mean, that would be like 4 first round.
Yeah, they gave up
second rounders.
Oh, man. I don't know.
But they haven't done much with it, though, obviously.
Yeah, no.
Raiders haven't.
I mean, the Raiders knew what they were sending away, though, too. So, all right, T. Higgins, he's wide receiver 1 of this offense at this point and Burrow's favorite target. So I'm going to go with him as a start. Jamar Chase, man, they just force-fed the ball to him. Don't imagine that's going to happen again regularly this season. So he's going to sit as a flex option at best for me. Tyler Boyd, same thing. And then that's all I got. It's actually, I think 3 starts there is more than I would have guessed, probably.
I mean, those are the 3 starts. So, like, I get what you're saying about Jamar Chase. It seemed like they really had to force feed him the ball just because of what was coming out of training camp and out of practices. So, we said that, though, everybody. We said, like, they were going to try to make everybody, okay, this is why we drafted him.
Got to justify that at the 5th pick, man.
Yep.
5th pick of the draft.
5th pick of the draft, man. Rashawn Slater should have been the pick. Even over Penei Sewell. Rashawn Slater looked absolutely dominant for the Chargers last week. Alrighty. Sorry, deep dive there. We got the Bears. No QBs right now until they decide to, the best QB is Justin Fields. So until they start him,
probably 2 QB and Superflex most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to have a decent floor, though.
Yeah,
I think
because he's got rushing upside,
Yep. All right, David Montgomery, he did look really good against the Rams last week. He was a stud last week. His numbers were absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, what's wrong with the Rams?
I don't know. I thought their
run defense
was okay.
I mean, were they afraid that Andy Dalton was going to throw on them all the time? So they just decided, let's blitz. Let's try to get up the field all the time. And then they turn around and they're like, Montgomery's gone. Where'd he go? Oh, he has the ball.
But Montgomery looked good. A star, just do a little star here for Damian Williams. You should be, if you have a spot, throw him at the end of your bench because he got a decent amount of work and he's going to be thrusted into the lineup if something happens. So you don't have to, if you don't have room, don't do it, but just keep an eye on him. Allen Robinson is a stud. He got 11 targets last week, but he only got like 20 some odd yards. So you got the Jalen Ramsey effect. So you're still going to start your studs because of getting that kind of volume possibility. Darnell Mooney also got 7 targets. He looked good. Production was not there.
7 miles an hour.
So Kyle, what they did was all they concentrated on was the, their pass defense last week. And that's why, Allen Robinson and Darnell Mooney got some looks, but they just weren't effective enough with it. I think Darnell can still be startable in a flex spot. He's going to get you flex value at least. Cole Kmet, we had him as a waiver wire pickup. Yeah. You could do worse. I think he's a decent tight end in a pinch because
look at the plays, the routes run, the opportunities. He's far outstripped Jimmy Graham. But the problem is Graham gets all of his targets when it matters, and that's in the red zone. So
yeah. I hear you, man. Well, that's all I got for the Bears. What you got coming up here?
All right, we got Houston at Cleveland, and we've got Tyrod Taylor's 2 QB Superflex only. That's at best, man. I would say probably nobody's got him on their team. He's going to finish way out of contention there. So that's at best. That's if you're desperate. People are stacked, just have stacks of QBs on their bench or something in a 2 QB league. You're in trouble. David Johnson likely to get more work than you anticipate this week. He is the 3rd down back facing a game script that will favor him. So I think he's actually a flex this week. I also like Phillip Lindsay for the same reasons because he can catch quite well out of the backfield. He's also that change of pace back. Mark Ingram, I've got as a start, but he's back end running back 2 at best. So if you're starting him, don't imagine that you're going to get a whole lot more than running back 3 value out of him. Flex value, really. And then the only other start I've got is Brandon Cooks. Gets it done no matter what. And hey, Tay loves him, right? Tyrod Tay.
Yeah.
Yep, loves him. All right. What you got in Cleveland?
Baker Mayfield. I think Baker's a decent 2 QB or super flex. Against this defense. But the only thing is with this defense, they may get up big and then go to the run. So that kind of limits his upside, I think, this week. Nick Chubb, great matchup, looking at an elite output, but also once again, if they get up big, but this is the NFL. There is actually parity in this league, so I could be over exaggerating some of this. So, but I think this is a really good.
I don't know. I don't think Houston's team's good.
Well,
some college teams this year.
They beat up with Jacksonville.
They did.
That's
Jacksonville.
Kareem Hunt had, I think, some decent flex with the passing, work that he gets, especially against this defense. And then Odell Beckham looks like he is not going to play, folks. I think you actually said did they declare him out?
Yeah,
already?
I think he's declared out. Yep.
Okay. And so that rolls right into, if he's out, then I do feel okay starting Jarvis Landry. If he misses, then you put in Jarvis Landry, pointing towards that more and more this week. So, That's all I got. I do have just another little note here. David Njoku, keep an eye on it once again. I mean, because you're always trying to find some sort of value in the tight end room.
Yeah.
And it's always so inconsistent. So just keep an eye on David Njoku, who could be a possibility here that he's back from injury from last year.
Yeah. My concern is just this offense. They don't want to. They don't want to be pass first. Yeah.
And that's why it's not like an overreaction. That's why we didn't have David Njoku, even though there's a lot of people like, oh God, you got to go to the waiver wire to pick up another tight end, and David Njoku's the name.
No, don't burn fab and waiver priority on tight ends. Just don't do that. That's not a smart move unless you're just absolutely desperate and you think you've got a guy who's going to be able to get it done. No.
The only person I can remember is just last year's Logan Thomas, who he really did come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And
that was an offense that was looking to do what he was doing.
A pass catcher.
Yeah. And not only that, I mean, they only had one other guy really of worth note in the passing game. So obviously, right? New Orleans at Carolina. We've got Jameis Winston as a start. 5 touchdowns probably isn't going to be repeatable regularly. Like we did the math. It was like 85 touchdowns for the year. So probably not happening.
You sure?
Yeah. But hey, look, he's potential top 6 QB every week going forward. Really. I think he is, because you've got Sean Payton, you've got Jameis Winston, who's been solid actually so far. He only had 20 passes, but yeah. So I like it. Alvin Kamara, start your studs, obviously. Michael Thomas, for some reason, is marked as, he shouldn't be marked. You know what? I think it got shifted here.
And you might have added somebody and you shifted.
Yeah, I must have done that. Marquez Callaway, I've got as a low end flex value. That's weird. I don't know what happened there. And so then let's see here. We've got Deontay Harris. I actually like him as a flex as well. I think he's going to show up more as long as Jair Alexander isn't still covering him. I think he should be okay. So, yeah. Let's see here. What else do I have? Adam Troutman, flex. He's a flex right now, at least as the value that you're going to get. I like him in like 2 tight end or tight end flex, where it's like a weird flex or something like that. I think 2 tight end is where you really are going to start this guy right now. He had a surprisingly high amount of usage, and his speed's going to be, he's going to thrive with Jameis out there, I think. And so I like him a lot in that regard. Juwan Johnson, 6 targets on 20 passes for this offense last week, right? There's 20 passes. He got 6 of them. You know what, Justin? I think that all of these shifted for some reason. It's weird. I think that Troutman had the 6. Yeah. Deontay Harris had the. I think everything got shifted. I don't know what happened here on this one here. But we've got. Let's see here. Okay, so Marquez Callaway's low end flex value. Deontay Harris. No, I think Callaway's going to show up more. Gosh, what happened here on this, Justin?
I don't know exactly what happened, but I like what you're saying. So Marquez Callaway, he didn't really show up week 1. That's why sometimes we really liked it. But what he did in the preseason.
So I think what it is okay. So I think I figured out what happened to the notes. They all part of it shifted down, part of it didn't. All right. So I've got Marquez Callaway as a start. He's going to show up more as long as Jair is not covering him, right? Deontay Harris is a flex. Like I said, he had a surprisingly high amount of usage. Troutman's the one who had 6 targets on 20 passes of the offense. That's pretty promising. He didn't blow up last week, but that's because he didn't get a touchdown. He's going to likely be touchdown dependent for the most part this season. And then Juwan Johnson's the guy that I'm saying don't. Yeah, he caught 2 touchdowns, but he's not the guy you should be picking up. That is absolutely variance for him. Absolutely. Yeah. He had so few targets. Spots that he had him was just the way that the game played out. So
he was darn near all deuces.
Yep. All right, what you got?
All right, Carolina Panthers. Sam Darnold. Good week 1 on the old revenge game. So this is going to be a much better defense. So 2 QB or super flex only for him. Christian McCaffrey. Start your studs, everybody. He did everything but score a touchdown. Gosh darn it. In a non-PPR, he still got you quite a few points, but man, you really wanted that touchdown. I may or may not be biased. DJ Moore, he's the wide receiver 1 on this team, and it shows that he has a good rapport with Darnold.
Yep.
It shows because Robbie Anderson, he got a touchdown, long one, but only got 1 target. 1 target for a guy that he's played with before, so it was a little shocking. Yeah. I still would start in a flex for Robbie Anderson, but where's the targets at? But once again, this is 1 week. I don't want to overreact. So keep an eye on Terrace Marshall, see what kind of production he can get out of that slot. So that's all I got for Carolina. That's pretty slam bam thank you man for the Panthers.
Yeah. All right, Minnesota at Arizona. Minnesota's up first here. We've got Kirk Cousins as a start. It's a mediocre start most likely, but could be a back-end QB1 on the day just because they're probably going to be in the field quite a bit because Arizona's going to be fairly explosive, I think. Minnesota's defense is aged. They're pretty old. They brought in a lot of vets that they've had on the team before, like Everson Griffin's back, I think even. I don't know. No word on whether he's brandishing guns in hotel lobbies still. Dalvin
give it
Cook,
time, Kyle.
Yeah, give it time. On a marathon weekend, too, he did that when there were a bunch of out-of-town people present. Dalvin Cook, he's going to continue to be the focal point of this offense, right? That's what they want to do. They just want to run it. Kubiak's son is now involved, so you know that it's just about the run game there. Justin Jefferson, he's a start, had 9 targets in week 1, finished as wide receiver 47. This is only because he lost a TD to bad refereeing, right? So that's why. I mean, he was clearly in the end zone, should have had the TD. They didn't give it to him. Adam Thielen, 10 targets, 9 catches, even better, right? So Thielen's back on his game, looked better, looked good. Yeah, he looked really good. And you know what? If Jefferson's going to blow it on that many targets, Thielen could take back the spot, solidify himself as the true wide receiver 1 on this team, and be the guy that finishes in the top 12. I think we're going to see that maybe one of these guys is top 12. One of them's lucky to be top 36. I really kind of feel like the volume is going to be a problem just because I don't think the defense is going to be able to get off the field all the time.
Yeah.
So then the volume goes down. I think that Dalvin Cook is going to be more involved in the passing game and that they're going to want to rely on what works for them. I think I have concerns about Kirk Cousins just being effective.
Everybody has concerns about Kirk Cousins, but he's still going to throw it about 30 times.
Maybe.
So that means even if you divvy up those shares, like where are they going to go? They're going to go to Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen.
He was throwing to Conklin though, man.
Yeah.
Why are they throwing to Conklin?
I get it. But both of these guys are going to be top 15, in my opinion, by the end of the season.
But if you're getting 9 targets and you're not catching it, I mean, I think you got a problem.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
We know that Cousins is historically inaccurate on a lot of stuff, you know.
And Justin Jefferson is downfield, and Adam Thielen's more red zone.
Oh, yeah.
So I get it.
Intermediate routes, red zone. He's more like Larry Fitzgerald. So, yeah. What do you got on Arizona, speaking of old Larry?
Right. Kyler Murray. What? Have you heard of him? Yeah, you're going to start him. He's a stud. Running backs. This is kind of interesting. Chase Edmonds was out-carried, but gets more work in the passing game, and he's way more efficient in his touches compared to James Conner, so I think he's flex value only.
Yeah.
James Conner, I just mentioned, he did have a decent workload. He actually out-carried Chase Edmonds, but shocker, he wasn't very efficient with his touches. That's what happened the last couple of years. That's why he's no longer with the Steelers. DeAndre Hopkins, he's a stud.
Yeah.
You know, even with a somewhat down year because he was a new wide receiver and a new offense on a new team. And this is second year of it, buddy, and this guy still got it. I think he could finish top 3. I think this might be the number 1. You might be taking over that from Stephon Diggs again.
Maybe.
The other wide receivers, Christian Kirk, Rondale Moore, AJ Green, I'm still not quite ready. The only one I would be quite ready for is Christian Kirk.
Yeah.
Rondale Moore still got some work, but it's just going to be hard because I think Christian Kirk and Rondale Moore are going to be competing against each other for that weekly consistent. It's going to be one or the other every time.
Kirk looked good, man. He looked really good.
He did, but Rondale Moore also looked good and got 7 targets. I think it was 6 or 7 targets. So that's the only thing is definitely if he's out there for some reason, if he's available, pick him up because this is one of the guys that you said was probably going to go from a 30% all the way up to 70%.
Yep.
So it's very possible, but I don't know if there's been enough injuries or enough lack of production from a wide receiver that I would feel comfortable.
It's a lot of mouths to feed right there. So it's too scattershot for me beyond DeAndre. All right, Atlanta Falcons at Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Here we go. What is this? NFC South, I think, battle. Matt Ryan, 2 QB super flex only. They're really reducing the volume of passes on this offense, which is a benefit to Mike Davis, who is a start here as well. Don't expect a wonderful day out of him, though. This is a tough defense to run on, but the volume will be to his and to your benefit, and that's what you're looking for, really. But it's tough to run down the middle of that defense. It really is. But I think you can get around the edges. You know, that team was not perfect last year, and they're still not the perfect team that everybody's, anointing them to be, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense. Calvin Ridley only saw 8 targets last week and had 5 catches. What is that about, right? You've got a premier wide receiver, and you're just going to give him 8 targets? Who else you throwing to? Really?
Well, you got a shiny new toy you got to throw to.
Yeah. Well, hey, look, they want to run more on than in the past, but Ridley will break out this season sometime soon. Russell Gage is a flex play. Go for it. That's fine. Kyle Pitts had 8 targets, but he only had 4 catches. Came off the field in the obvious running situations because he's actually just a wide receiver with the moniker of tight end. He doesn't block. He doesn't block at all. He's not a tight end.
No, I would flip the Russell Gage to Cordero Patterson because he might actually have. Yes,
you think he's got upside?
I mean, Russell Gage didn't get like 1 target, I think it was. Yeah. And Cordero Patterson, he's just still getting enough work where he might be labeled as a running back wide receiver.
I don't know, man. I don't know. This offense in general, I think all you can really do is hope that Ridley's going to still be able to provide.
That's really that's the only confident one.
Yeah, I mean Pitts, I've got listed as a start because if you spent the draft capital on him, you got to roll with him. But you're in trouble. Like you should have listened to us. You're in trouble now. You really are. What do you got on Tampa Bay?
All right, hashtag Tommy still got an arm on him. 44 years old. He threw 50 freaking passes. I mean, we were talking about
how many of them were
weren't
past 5 yards. So
yeah. They didn't all look the greatest. He did throw them down the field a couple times, but it was a little shaky on some of them. He had a couple of good
I don't know, man. There was Antonio a lot Brown. Where it was like, age is catching him. There was a lot of that going on.
I got you. Running backs. This is a quote from Bruce Arians from Thursday when talking about his backfield trio of Leonard Fournette, Giovanni Bernard, and Ronald Jones. They're all starters. Well, you know what, BA?
I don't think that's how it works.
I don't think that's how it works either.
No, they're converting to wishbone, but without a QB, they're just direct snapping. That's what it is.
There it is. But all right, for the wide receivers, I think it's the opposite. All 3 wide receivers should provide, around wide receiver 2 on average. Like you combine them all up. I mean, Mike Evans should have a bounce back. Chris Godwin got good work. Antonio Brown got a lot of work. And then Rob Gronkowski, of course. He looks a little more spry than he did last year, beginning of the year. Well, that was also because he took a year off and tried to be a professional wrestler. But always, you get down to that red zone, he's always looking Gronk's way, man. Always looking Gronk's way.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, he also looks Evans' way, too, there.
He does, the old deuces. But, all right, up next, we have the Tennessee Titans against the Seattle Seahawks. You're going to hit me with the Titans.
Yeah. All right. Ryan Tannehill. He's a start. He's 2 QB and super flex only, though. I mean, there's a problem with this offense. I don't know what's going on. He's just not a guy who can put a team on his back in any given week. He's just not. So I right now I don't trust him completely. Derrick Henry, 17 attempts, 58 yards, few catches for 19 yards more. I have to question: is he on a pitch count? Make sure that he lasts the season. He better be if history is correct, right? I mean, we talked about this. We told people, look out. Nobody wanted to believe me when I said it is entirely possible Derrick Henry finishes as an RB2, right? 2 years ago, he did. He was RB14. So why wouldn't that happen again when they have a full complement of running backs and more wide receivers now? Why not? So A.J. Brown, you're going to start him, obviously, right? He's going to be the obvious focus of Tannehill in most of the passes. And Julio, he had 6 targets. So that's nice, but we need to see more out of him. We need to see more out of that passing game in general. So I've only got A.J. Brown as a start. I've got Julio as a flex at the moment. And then Anthony Ferkser, he's a flex tight end, I think. But he's very, very TD dependent, but that's the position this year. That's the position every year. It's tight end dependent.
30 yards and a touchdown, you get a tight end one.
Tight end one. There you go. Yeah. All right, what do you got in Seattle?
Russell Wilson, he only needed 23 pass attempts last week to dominate. So, and the Hawks got up big, and that's about all he really had to do. But he should be an elite QB once again this week. Chris Carson.
Russell Wilson.
Chris Carson is a definite start. He's a stud for as long as he's out there and healthy. And guess what? Rashad Penny is already out for a few weeks with an injury.
What?
So,
no one saw that coming.
No, not at all. People are kind of going to the waiver wire to pick up DJ Dallas as the backup to Chris Carson. But hey, everybody, if Chris Carson were to go down, write this down. Alex Collins would be the main back, and DJ Dallas would still be the third down back. Yep. So just kind of keep that in mind. He is on the 53-man. He was just a healthy scratch because Alex Collins is not playing special teams. Wide receivers, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, studs. They only needed 5 targets to dominate. So they both have touchdown upside. They both have yak upside. They're going to continue to be wide receiver 2 or better. They're both wide receiver 1s in our opinion.
I want to point out that people gave me grief about where I had Lockett ranked this year.
Yeah.
And where I was taking him in drafts. They
good.
They gave me grief. And you know what? The truth is that this offense has shifted, and it is entirely possible that Lockett ends up being the wide receiver 1 on this team. It is entirely possible the way they've shifted this offense that he
and the
is
way
the guy.
Defenses have shifted as well, because they have really, I mean,
they're finally putting respect on DK Metcalf. So, I don't know. And then Lockett, Russell Wilson targets him in the end zone, man. He is a safety blanket there. So, yeah, that's
a shorter safety blanket in the wide receiver world.
It is, especially in the end zone
5'10" or something. Yeah.
But the dude wins on contested catches all the time. So why not? I mean, and Russell Wilson has shown in the past that he loves shorter wide receivers in the end zone who fight for the ball.
Oh, because it reminds him of him.
Yeah, of him.
Well,
but Golden Tate, you know.
Yeah.
All right, Dallas at the Chargers. Here we go. Dak Prescott, he's a start. Going to be solid this season as long as shoulder continues to hold up. That's always a question with Mike McCarthy because he might ask him to throw it 75 times. Ezekiel Elliott, volume grinder at this point, guys, in his career. And I worry about his use generally because of Mike McCarthy. And now you toss in that Demarcus Lawrence is out indefinitely and look for negative game scripts to kind of start pulling some carries, opportunities, all that stuff off of Elliott. If you've got him, I hope you understand who he is now in his career and what he is at this point. He is a guy who's going to need 20 plus carries to really be effective or to get those high value opportunities on a short field because Amari Cooper got tackled at the 1 or something like that, right? And so you're really looking for fortuitous opportunities. Well, Demarcus Lawrence out, that defense is going to have trouble pressuring quarterbacks and getting off the field. And as a result, they're going to find themselves down quickly. And that requires a lot different running back. And they know who that is. That's Tony Pollard. So I do have Ezekiel Elliott as a start, but I've got Pollard as a flex because he's looking pretty good. And he should start seeing more opportunities as these negative game scripts start to proliferate. I have a lot of starts here, actually. Amari Cooper still looks good. Go for it. CeeDee Lamb, you have him? You don't need me to tell you what to do about putting him in your lineup, right? You know you're going to put him in your lineup. See here, Michael Gallup, he is now out on IR, it looks like. And then Blake Jarwin, hey, you're hoping to see him get, a little bit more of the focus than Dalton Schultz, but we don't know if that's really going to happen. I think that McCarthy's got some weird notion about how he wants his offense to operate, and it's just like he sees both of these guys. So right now I've got Jarwin as a flex and Schultz as a start. So he seems to be getting the majority of the tight end targets so far, but this can change at any time. So I don't trust the tight
Hopefully
ends
you get
really
a better
there.
option.
I don't think anybody's starting either of these guys in their lineup in any spot. But if you're in a 2 tight end league, I could see you playing one of these guys, but you're really probably only hoping for like tight end 2 flex value sort of thing like that. That's where you're going with it. Otherwise, you're in trouble. Figure something out. Run to the waivers. All right, what do you got here on the Chargers?
Herbert's a definite start. Should be another big game for Herbie.
What are you talking about, man?
He looked good. He looked good. You said, you went into the Demarcus Lawrence, so he's got one less player coming after him.
Oh yeah. Well, the best player on that defensive rush was Demarcus Lawrence.
Yes. Austin Eckler. Very odd what happened week 1. 0 targets.
Yeah.
But he got the goal line work. So this is like complete opposite of the previous years when it comes to Austin Eckler. This is a new regime.
Overcorrection.
But yeah, that is the definite of over. What'd you say?
Overcorrection. They just overcorrected. Yeah.
Word's hard. When it comes to wide receivers, Keenan Allen and Mike Williams both had great week ones. Keenan Allen looked great as always with his running, route running prowess. It was on full display. Can we get that consistent weekly output that we've been craving from him?
I mean, maybe with the new coaches, maybe.
Maybe. And then Mike Williams, 12 targets in week one. That's probably the most he's ever had. Is this the volume breakout we've been looking for? He did break out when he had 10 touchdowns, but then he turned around and had 3 the following season.
No, I think if they keep it at that volume, it's going to be a volume breakdown for him. Like dude's always hurt.
That's true. He's always got a back issue, so it might just flare up all of a sudden.
Yep.
Jared Cook, if you are a person that has Mike Gesicki and you had Jared Cook on your bench, maybe flip it this week and see what happens, and maybe you have to do it. I mean, there's still the Chargers, even though this is a new regime, they love throwing to tight ends. They always have, always will.
Yep.
Keep an eye out real quick. I'm going to go back. Larry Roundtree, keep an eye on his usage. He looks to have leapfrogged Justin Jackson as the running back 2. So it's highly valuable if the injury-prone Eckler gets hurt again.
Yep.
We don't count on this, but Eckler is always kind of banged up, and he's still coming into the season with a hamstring limitation.
Yeah. All right, Sunday night game. Here we go. Kansas City at Baltimore, right? All right, we've got Patrick Mahomes. Hey, start your studs. My Lord, if Derek Carr can look like Patrick Mahomes against Baltimore, then what will Patrick Mahomes look like, right? Yeah.
He's just going to throw all of them as he's like diving.
Yeah.
Just for funsies.
Yeah. Just wing it, sling it out there constantly, sidearm. Oh, you know what? He's just going to throw it left-handed. It's going to be the bird game. That's what he's going to do. He's going to do the bird game. He's just going to throw left-handed all night. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he's a start actually this week for me. One of these games, the donut's going to pop off. Maybe if he continues to struggle, though, he becomes a buy low candidate. I still like him, so I think he's going to be a solid guy going forward as they kind of integrate him more and more into this offense, and he starts doing what they are wanting him to do, and that is what Kareem Hunt was doing before he ended up on the street. Tyreek Hill. He's good for 4 to 6 catches, 100 plus yards, and at least 1 touchdown. That's weekly. It's also this week because it's also another week, right? Miko Hardman, I've got him just as a general flex. I don't know that I'm trusting that very much. I still want to see more out of him. He's not doing anything to prove it to me. He's definitely not a 6th-round pick in my mind. In fantasy football. Oof. That he's not watching. If he was watching, he wouldn't have drafted Miko Hardman in the 6th round, man. Travis Kelce is a start. Hey, guess what? Good for 4 to 6 catches, 100 plus yards, and at least 1 touchdown. Just like Tyreek. Any given time, one of these guys is going to get 2 to 3 touchdowns, and it's just, they switch weeks. They take turns. So, yeah, that's what I got on Kansas City. What do you got on Baltimore?
All right, Lamar Jackson, you're going to start him, of course, but this guy is running out of pass catchers already, and he's running out of running backs, too, that's for sure. But speaking of running backs, Tyson Williams is I think a flex. I don't think he's going to get the majority of the workload. I don't think he's really set up for that because they've brought in a multitude of people. But out of anybody, I think Latavius Murray is the better running back, but let's not forget that he couldn't keep his job.
Tyson Williams is one of my favorite overreactions that I can recall in a little while on waiver wire budgeting. Like there were people who spent 100% fab on him. I'm like, why would you do that? Like,
it's okay if they really thought
35% maybe, but I was like, they're gonna bring somebody in.
Brought in Devontae Freeman. They wouldn't have brought in Le'Veon Bell. And as of today, each one of those are on the 53 now.
Yeah.
So Le'Veon and Devontae are no longer on the veteran practice squad. They're actually on the active roster. So that kind of gives you an idea. They really want to share this out. And so this is going back
That's what they used to do anyway, man. Like
this is going back to a running back room that I just want to avoid. I mean, after I drafted Gus Edwards in our keeper league in the 2nd round and then got hurt right before the season, I'm not bitter. Why would I be bitter? It's
because none of them are the running back 1 on this team. He takes the snap. That's who's their running back 1.
It's true. That's true. All right, going to wide receiver room. I have Sammy Watkins as a start, everybody, and one of the biggest reasons is 1, he looked really good week 1.
We called it.
2, Hollywood Brown is hampered by an ankle injury. What a shock. Another injury for Hollywood Brown.
Yep.
And he may not play, so the Lizard King's looking great and is startable with or without Hollywood. So even though this is is this the Monday night game?
It is. No, Sunday night game.
Sunday night game. So you have to wait a little while. I still think it's okay to start him, or you can just leave it in the flex and then wait to see what happens. But Mark Andrews, troubling week 1 production, but you drafted him as a top 5 tight end, so you're gonna roll with him.
He's every other season, man. He's every other season.
It really is. I mean, he got his money, that's for sure.
Yep.
All right.
You know what? We called it on Sammy Watkins, though. We straight up called it on him and said,
you were really. I mean, it's more you.
I drafted him in our league, didn't I?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of crazy.
There.
Yeah, you were there. Justin, you were there. All right, here we go. Detroit at Green Bay. This is the Monday night game, right? Jared, wait, you're going to take Detroit, aren't you? Go ahead.
That's right. I'm sorry. My bad. Yeah, we always flip on the Packers and Colts one. So Jared Goff, he had a big week 1, but only started doing anything when they were super far behind. They almost came back they were there.
They did.
That's
it
insane.
actually
was
looked good.
Insane. I watched that. I was watching a little bit of that. But all right, for the running backs. Both running backs could be startable in fantasy as they get a mix of carries and receptions, but a lot of it has to do with why, they finally opened up the playbook and was like, holy crap, we're so far down. I think DeAndre is going to be potentially a little more reliable weekly, which you hate to hear that because I know you do like Jamal Williams, but I think they're going to lean on DeAndre Swift a little bit more because
we'll see.
That groin injury did not really flare up, and I haven't seen anything. I think both of them are kind of limited in practice, but I think it's because they had to carry pretty much the workload on this. Yeah. Because the wide receivers are nobody that I would want to touch with a 10-foot pole. I wouldn't want any of these even on the end of my bench. But tight end, that is somebody that I would want on my team if possible. But you had to draft him pretty high. That was TJ Hawkinson. Hawkinson had 10 targets in week 1. No reason why I think that's going to change. So this guy is locked in as a tight end 1, as a top 5 tight end 1, because of the targets he's going to be getting from good old Jared Goff.
That's a big doggy.
That's right. All right, Green Bay Packers. We've got Aaron Rodgers. This is probably going to be a bounce back game as long as he doesn't take a double doink to the boys again, right? Sorry, I got you there. He is a start for me. So, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you could.
Son of a gun.
Yeah, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you could go check out his interview with Pat McAfee this week. Yeah. They even pieced out that little part where he talked about why he threw his first interception. The double doink to the boys. Aaron Jones, he's going to hope to get things going, right? He hasn't got it going fully yet. This offense just wasn't meshing last week. Should be heavily featured if they're able to do what they want, and why wouldn't they? It's the Lions, right? So I think they're going to be okay to at least get it moving here. AJ Dillon, he's going to have more to do he's going to have to do more to be a playable flex player, but I've got him as flex value. I want to see more out of him than what he's shown though so far. He's going to start ceding some carries to Kylan Hill pretty soon if he doesn't get it together. Davante Adams, start studs, bounce back inbound, right? There we go.
Yep.
Marquez Valdez-Scantling, I think he's a flex play. He might show up as wide receiver 3 this week. It's entirely possible. I think he might link up to make up for that touchdown from Aaron Rodgers that he should have had. That was that really deep pass that Rodgers just kind of hucked it and chucked it and did not look off the safety effectively. And so he overthrew, if you can believe it, he overthrew MVS.
That's tough.
Yeah, that is really tough to do. But MVS loves the deep ones. All right, Robert Tonyan, TD dependent like all tight ends, not named Travis Kelce, but he can blow up at any time. Or now I think we could toss in Hawkinson, to be completely honest, as far as guys who are not tight end or touchdown dependent tight ends. I think that's actually a thing. Yeah. It's straight volume for him because there's no other pass catcher in that offense.
Nope.
It really isn't. I mean, there's Quintez Cephas. He's good for 4 targets and 2 catches for 5 yards. So there you go. He's wide receiver 1.
He actually did okay. He had 3 catches for 12 yards and a touchdown. 12 yards on 3 catches.
There you go. Look at that high-powered offense.
You put $1 in, got a car. $1 in, got a car.
But yeah, I think Tunyan's going to be okay. It's just too touchdown dependent right now. It's really risky. Yeah. So, we knew that going into the season though, man. I mean, he was 18%, I think, of his catches were touchdowns last year. So, variance, that's what happens.
Yeah.
All right, guys,
that's
gonna do it for our starts and sits for week 2 fantasy football 2021 season, right? It's a longer episode. Hopefully you were able to hang with us for a little while. You got a couple payoff there. The double doink to the boys. I think I caught you with water in your mouth. Almost lost it.
Almost lost it.
Yeah. All right. So, hey, make sure you're subscribed and that you've hit that bell so you're notified when we roll live for our Sunday pregame show. It was a lot of fun last week. We've got it dialed in, I think, so it should be good to go. Should be clean. Schedule's going to be a little leaner for the season going forward, but I think we're hoping to devote a little bit more effort to the website, making sure we get more content pushed out that way to you guys. So there will be more stuff. It's just going to be everywhere now. Condensed.
Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter on all three
above
of the handles.
Me
so that
and down below, and then over by Justin. All right. We'll see you next time, guys. Good luck this week. Bye.
See ya.